Yeah, hello. Um, my second try on explaining this invisible lift or bridge thing. So basically, the invisible bridge is a simple block that is moving up and down and giving you a sense of a platform. But since it's done with self-referencing sectors, um, you cannot see the block. But I would recommend that you sort of contain the self-referencing sector thing because it's really messing with the editor and the editor will not know anymore really where sectors are. So let's start here with this example. We have a tiny room, we have a gap, and we have a bridge, and that's our player. And if I start this now, you see I have my room here. And I can cross this gap if I walk here, and you hear already like there's some moving going on. And if I go down here and approach the bridge will immediately lower and I can pass here. And if I go back up and cross again here, the bridge will come up immediately and I can cross. So this is basically this is the mechanics. So how does it work? As you can see here, we have our bridge, and we have a control sector there in the back. This control sector here is representing the bridge, and is moving up and down. And to make it move up and down immediately, we need to do some trickery with the adjacent controlling sector height, floor height, and ceiling height. So let's have a look at the line diffs first. We have a line diff here when I'm going to approach the bridge. This is actually the special of 83, which means that it should move the floor down to the highest adjacent floor. So I'm approaching this thing and it moves the floor down to the highest adjacent floor. What it actually should do is it's moving up, but since it's moving down to the highest adjacent floor, and the highest adjacent floor here is 0. If you look at the properties of this sector, of this control sector here, the floor height is 0. And this is exactly the height I need to walk here, because the floor height of these sectors also is 0. And so if I cross this line, it will lower the floor up to 0, which happens immediately. The same thing happens if you kind of want to go under the bridge. You have to cross these lines, and these have a special of 91, which is move the floor up to the lowest adjacent ceiling. So if I go here, I want this block to move down immediately, and I use this move the floor up to lowest adjacent ceiling action. Again, referencing the control sector, the ceiling height is minus 112, and this is exactly the floor height of the sector I want to cross here, minus 112. And so this is how the sector moves up and down. Yes, so now basically we're having a functioning bridge, but the thing is, if you want to not see this block, we need to make a self-referencing sector, and we're doing this by editing the line defs. And we can say here the line defs, I don't know how it is in Ultimate Doom Builder, but it's probably better anyway. So let's first have a look at the sector. So this reference, the sector I'm referencing here is the sector number 3. Was it written here? No, the sector 3 properties. And the outside sector here is sector number 0. And I need all of these line defs to reference sector number 3. So this sector is just referencing, so all the line defs are referencing this sector. This is what it means to have a self-referencing sector. So I see I have to change the backside properties of these lines, and seeing at the backside it's referencing sector 0, but I need it to reference sector 3. And also this backside reference sector 3, and also this. It's a bit finicky, but I hope it works. Backside sector 3. Alright, okay, so these now, if you're looking at the side definitions, backside and front side referencing sector 3. So now you see the editor is already confused. It cannot pick up this sector anymore. Right, and the more complicated the surrounding is, the more complicated it is for the editor to actually, deduct something useful out of this. Because they can select it here, but you see all the line diffs are going crazy and so on. But an interesting effect we immediately notice is that the sector disappeared. Like it's not, you can select it even, right? I mean at least the floor, but it disappeared. How does it look in the program? There we go. There is no bridge anymore. But yet I can walk here. Right, and if I go down here, I can pass under. And I can go up. You still have the moving sounds. We get rid of the moving sounds a bit later, but let's first see this is working. Right, so alright. Maybe we'll put some candles here to be nice to the player. Actually, let them see what's going on. Thing mode, a lightning. Oh, pop. Short red torch and short red torch. Alright. So these are now under here because the editor doesn't know how to deal with this shit. And what's the Doom engine showing us? This one. We are up. We are down. Alright. So this is this has some interesting effects. Because like it's moving immediately, like any corpses that would lay here would move up and down like crazy. And also the monsters will probably I don't know, disturb the effect. So what I usually do, or what I did in the map, is I also block these lines for monsters. Right, blocks monsters cannot pass here. They cannot come to an end here. It doesn't work. All right. So, but the problem here is now we have the moving lift thing, and it's invisible. But invisible is not what we want. We want something. We want some indication that there is a bridge indeed that is not moving. And how are we doing this? We are making mid textures. So it's drawing a line here, which will actually break our sector definitions. It's probably creating a new sector. Here now we have front side sector 3, backside sector 3. No, it's still working. But here, there's backside sector 7. So I just go back with Control Z. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Let's do it this way. Alright, so we have this line now in the sector. Like crossing these lines is a bit tricky and really depends on the editor, how the editor handles stuff. But just for simplicity of the tutorial here, we just draw the lines inside the sector, so there should be any problem. So now we have these 3 lines, or maybe, I don't know, 4. Yeah, let's go with 3. I want this thing in the middle. I want it in the middle. Yeah, let's go like this. Alright, so okay, these are now our 3 lines. If you go to the editor, we can see these 3 lines here in the 3D rendering mode. And these lines, now all lines of sector 3, they are inside the self-referencing sector, and they're all referencing sector 3, front side and back side. Yet we need a middle texture for these, and I choose step, because the middle texture cannot be high, because it would just be drawing all these texture things. So we just use step, and on the back side same step top here, and all these three sectors have now step top textures. Yes, and we pick them up, bop, 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 and I move them down inside this little sector here. Alright, okay, so run. Now you can see, because the self-referencing sector itself is not drawn, the only thing we can see is these middle textures. Right, and this is kind of the effect that we have with the bridge. And if I go close, the sector is moving down, yet the textures stay where they are because like a texture offset. Okay, so that's it. And like to connect these lines with the border here, we need to make these lines complete, like to the edge here. And then the big problem appears, like if I move this dot here, I get a new sector, and I don't want a new sector. Right, this I don't want. So I press Ctrl Z in Slate, and it kills the sector it just created. Like so. Now we have these lines without the new sector. Still this sector. Oh, there we go. The lines are really like to the end. And then I can add lines here. And hope this will not mess up our self-referencing sector thing. Seems to be working. Same here. And now these guys, like they're all not on the map, because then otherwise we'll see the stripes or whatever. But I give them the same mid textures. Step top, backside, step top. Alright, keep them selected, and you see the problem. You see the problem, like the editor is kind of messing things up. So let's go back. Yeah, so this is really the thing that you need to figure out how your editor handles stuff. Let's just skip this. Now, like, we notice that there's this sound, the moving sound. Well, we don't want the moving sound when we cross the bridge, and that's has to do something with the position of the control sectors. It seems that the sound is rendered somewhere, like if I have this sector here, the sound is somewhere rendered in the middle of this sector, which would be this position here. So if we move this control sectors far away on the other side of the map, then the sound is rendered here, which might be outside of the area where we can actually hear it. So let's try this. Yup. Right, it's so far out we can't hear the noise. I can still walk here. Alright. Okay. So I still messed up the self-referencing thing, because I can see the block again. Let's see. Sector 3, 3 and 3, 3 and 3. 3 0, 3 0. Alright, alright, okay. You see the back side is sector 0, and this, yeah. Alright, so we have to really make sure that all these lines only reference this sector in the middle that we don't want to see. See, does it work? No, it doesn't work. So slate doesn't help me here. I have to really go here and put the 3. Just do it. Oh, this is a bit like, you know, complicated. Tap. I guess that Doom Builder is a bit more sophisticated here. But still, we don't have Doom Builder. There's no Doom Builder for Linux. Okay, let's see if this now works again. Ah, it's invisible again. Alright. Yeah, so I think we have the desired effect to some extent. Here we go. Alright. So the problem really, like with these mid-texture lines, is like you need to make sure that they are not creating, when you draw them, they're not creating any new sectors, and they are not and they are not messing with the self-reference sector thing. Yep. All right. So that's the tutorial. I hope it helps. Thank you very much.